Vice coming after vegans yet again. Well, this one author who writes for Vice coming after vegans yet again. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into a few more stories, and we're going to finish off with some meat flakes. Of course, I wouldn't come here without meat flakes. And today it's a special meat flake of the. That's not meat flakes of the week. It's probably, I don't know, meat flakes of the weekend or something like that. Basically, the meat flakes we're going to focus on today are the meat flakes who've come along, who are very upset with me for my last video, the last Face the Facts Friday, because of the joke that I made in there about farmers. So, yeah, we're going to go through. We're going to look why they're upset. We're going to rewatch that clip, see why they're upset. Then we're going to respond and react to the meat flakery in the comments, and also the bit that they're upset about where I gave these fake ideas. If you haven't seen the video already, basically I made a joke about the things that you get a vegan for Valentine's Day, and one of the jokes has really offended them. And that whole section was a joke based on this article that actually had a what to get a vegan for Valentine's Day. So I'm going to go through that article as well. We're going to actually look at what it recommends to get vegans for Valentine's Day, because that'll be nice. Then we're going to take a look at these silly meat flakes and why they're upset, and whether they should be upset or not, which we all know the answer is already. The answer is a big fat freaking no. So let's take a look at what's the title of the video. Well, it's about Vice, and it's about this article. So today, by the way, I can say these words. I can talk about, I'm going to talk about anti-vaxxers, and I can say it because this video is going to go on the second channel, not on the main channel, so monetization and stuff like that doesn't matter. So the second channel, the Ram's Den, this is where the replay is going to be, right? So let's get into this. What's going on here? So this girl, this woman, I don't know, she wants to I don't know her identity, I don't know, in this modern world of progressiveness gone mad, but anyway, whatever, Anya, whatever that surname is, she has written this article, The Dangerous World of Anti-Vax Vegans. Now, before we get into why this is a fucking ridiculous article, let me just show you what Anya's history is like talking about vegans. So she's done this article, Dear White Vegans, Stop Appropriating Food. She's done this article, Vegan influencers keep comparing meat eating to the Holocaust and slavery. And she's done this article, Seaspiracy criticized for anti-Inuit racism after targeting seal hunt. So are you getting a bit of a flavor for what Anya's about already? do you get what I'm going for here? Then why I've decided to focus on this goon again? So she clearly has a problem with vegans, clearly has a problem with veganism, and that's why every article she's ever done about veganism is anti-vegan, right? But anyway, with the newest one, she's used a tactic that she used here, right? First of all, let's talk about this one, this Dear White Vegans, Stop Appropriating Food. This article is all about veganism being racist. Look at the first line. Veganism is going through its own racial reckoning that's a long time coming, considering white vegan influencers have appropriated traditional foods forever. It's a ridiculous article, but look at when she posted it. August 13th, 2020. Was there something going on around then at that time? Was there something going on, something really important, something race related? Do you guys remember something summer 2020, June 2020? Wasn't there something going on? Oof, any ideas? Yeah, no, it was only the biggest, in modern times, the biggest racial reckoning of the West in modern times, right? In our lifetimes for most of us, right? So she rode the back of that, basically rode the back of an anti-racism movement, rode the back of the BLM movement, to put this out there and keep stirring things up and keep stirring up racial tension and obviously go after vegans, right? So the reason I mentioned this, even though this was like years ago, right, August 2020, the point is, the reason she did that back then is because back then it was let's say, in style, let's say, it was the stylish thing to do, it was the cool thing to do, it was the in thing to do, to start trying to call everybody racist, right? And it was also the in thing to do that if you could prove back then, or if you could try to insinuate someone was racist, that was the worst possible thing you could be at that time in 2020. Let's be honest, right? That was the worst thing you could say about somebody because of all of this heat and all of this madness going on at the time, right? So people were doing that. They were trying to take people down and stuff like that, right? And she wrote this article and tried to associate vegans with that, right? Veganism with racism. Basically, that's what she tried to go for, right? So what has she done now then? Is this something that like it was a one-off, or is this something she does all the time? Well, no, because currently being a racist is not the worst thing you can be currently in the present society, right? It's obviously really, really bad, but it's not the worst thing you can be right now. It's not like there's a big focus on this right now. No, what's the focus on right now? If you were to look at society right now and say, okay, what are people really fired up about right now? It's not racism, right? It's moved on. People have moved on. Now they're really, really fired up about anti-vaxxers. They're really fired up about them, and they're calling them, whatever. People are attacking them. The media's attacking them. They're going after people like, Joe Rogan for having people on who are anti-vax. They're going after like doctors who are not anti-vax, but anti this one, anti the specific this vaccine. They're going after basically people who are anti-vax are getting their accounts shut down and stuff like that. And it's all in the media and it's all in the news, and it's all like people are really, really angry at these people, right? So what does Anya go and do? So she did it once with the racism stuff, where you already know. She just drops an article, The Dangerous World of Anti-Vax Vegans, right? It's not a coincidence that currently all the heat is on this topic, and then she makes an article like this. So what's her evidence? Well, first off, she says most vegans are fully vaxxed, but there's a loud and influential group of anti-vaxxers within the movement. Well, if that were true, okay, if there were a loud and influential, keep that word in mind, influential group of anti-vaxxers within the vegan movement, then how would it be that most vegans are fully vaxxed? Either they're influential and most vegans are rejecting it, or they're not influential and vegans are getting it, right? Because you can't have it both ways. This sentence isn't, I don't know if a sentence can be an oxymoron, but it is an oxymoron. It's like most people did this thing, but there is also an influential group of people that are telling them not to do the thing. Well, if they were influential, they wouldn't have done it then. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. It goes on, basically. She refers to this guy who unfortunately died. I don't know if it was caused just only by COVID, or if it was if he had other things with it. I don't know, but either way, when this guy died, this vegan died, he wishes he took the vaccine. He was begging nurses for the vaccine. The reason he didn't take the vaccine was because it was animal tested and he's a vegan, and he rejected it because of that, right? So that was his decision. He did what he did. He regretted it. It's really sad that it happened, and that there you go, right? That's what happened. She's claiming in this article, which we'll come down to here, she's claiming that this actually happened. Where is it here? His case exposes the worrisome and at times fatal consequences of anti-vax thinking playing out among a small but influential group of vegans on the internet who are exploiting the reasons many people go vegan to guilt others out of getting vaccinated. His case exposes the worrisome and at times fatal consequences of anti-vax thinking playing out among a small but influential group of vegans. What's she talking about? He made that decision based on his own beliefs. You've got no evidence to prove that the reason he did that was because of this big dangerous world of anti-vax vegans, right? So she's just completely made a claim there without any evidence to back it up. It goes on to talk about some of these people who are doing this in her eyes. There's someone, a naturopath with 111,000 subs. She talks about a few other people that never naming anyone, but say some of them have got views of 14,000 views or more. Super influential people here, aren't they, right? And it goes on. She's talking about a popular vegan blog, which again she doesn't name, right? And look, do some of these people exist, guys? Are there some vegans out there who are saying, yeah, just eat fruits and vegetables, you never have to take medicine? Sure there are. Do most vegans tell them they're fucking stupid? Yeah, we fucking do. They're not influential at all. They're influential to the people that will follow them, but that's not. They don't have an influence with the mainstream. That's my point. It goes on, and she says a few things to fire you up, like things like, oh, they're not following the science and things like that. Talking about some of the things that these vegans have apparently said, but without actually quoting, showing us who these people are. Oh, and it goes on and on and on, and she just tries to promote the vaccine here. whatever, right? Or whatever, if that's what you want to do, go for it, right? And she calls out Russell Brand, Alicia Silverstone, and Kat Von D, saying that they're alleged anti-vax vegans and they're being stereotyped, helping vegans get more stereotyped. It goes on and on like this, and it's all very anti-vegan, apart from one little section with Christopher Sebastian, where basically he talks about how there's no indication that the percentage of vegans who are anti-vax is higher than anywhere else, which obviously is true. I'm sure there are plenty of other communities with a higher amount of people who would fall into the category of anti-vax. Like, for example, this is kind of like me putting together a video making fun of or criticizing the carnivore dieters because a lot of them are anti-vax. It's a weak argument because not all of them are, and if that's the only thing I can go for, then it's kind of pathetic from me, isn't it? If all I can talk about is how those carnivore dieters are anti-vax, it's like, well, I've got plenty of better arguments than that, but she hasn't, which is why she's doing this, right? It goes on and on. She talks about, this is a hilarious bit. She's talking about the smallpox vaccine in 1840, and she linked this article claiming that the vegetarians and animal rights activists were behind some of the biggest anti-vax movements in the Victorian times. Well, I opened her article and I went down and looked through it. Turns out she's not even read her own article, okay? Because in this article, it says that some of these people were vegetarian, okay? It's true. But it also says, my studies have shown that the membership of the Scottish Anti-Vaccination League included lawyers, local businessmen, tradesmen, and non-conformist clergymen, in addition to members of the labouring classes. So, okay, does that mean that then there's a dangerous world of anti-vax among lawyers? Or among local businessmen, or among tradesmen, non-conformist clergymen, or labouring classes? Or are we just going to specifically focus on the veggies and the animal rights guys in these areas, right? Which is like what she's doing. So she didn't even read her own fucking article, clearly. She goes on talking about plant-based news and how whenever they post vaccine stuff, they get some anti-vaxxers in the comments, which plant-based news has 1.2 million followers, right? You're gonna get people that disagree with what they're saying. It's not like a sign of any epidemic of anti-vax or something. And then finally, right near the end of the article, after 75% of it shitting on vegans, she says, to be clear, most vegans are not anti-vax. A recent study found 87% of vegans in the UK have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. So she goes through all of this, trying to make it out that there is just some dangerous world of anti-vax vegans, right? Then right near the end confirms that actually 87% of vegans in the UK have had the COVID vaccine, which is higher than the general population. Absolute fucking madness, complete and utter nonsense. And I wanted to go through it because, like I said to you, this person is a multiple serial offender. She jumps on the back of whatever kind of hatred bandwagon is going at the time, like 2020, the BLM movement, George Floyd. She jumped on the back of that. All vegans are racist. Or white vegans, stop doing this. White vegans, racial reckoning. And then I don't know if these were linked with any specific time period. Well, Seaspiracy being launched, obviously. She jumped on the back of the popularity of Seaspiracy and tried to call that out, racist. And then with the James Aspie thing and a few others using the word Holocaust and slavery, she jumped on that as well. So she's a serial offender. And the thing is with this is that regardless of where you stand on this is what I wanted to make clear here. Regardless of whether you are a 100% like pro every single vaccine, or whether you're just pro specifically this one, or whether you're in the middle where you're like, I'll do what I need to do to get by, or whether you're against this specific one or you're against all of them, we can all agree that this article is based on a foundation of complete and utter bullshit, and is just someone reaching to try and go after vegans for something that every group has. Like, whether you're anti-vax or pro-vax, you can agree that, okay, for example, the bowling clubs of the UK, of America, let's imagine like bowling clubs as a category of people, men who bowl. Some of them are going to be anti-vaxxers, right? It's going to happen. Does that mean that it has a dangerous world of bowling clubs? No, it just means that they have a lot of people that bowl in bowling clubs. So statistically, some of them will be anti-vax. Maybe it's more than other groups. Maybe it's less than other groups. But it doesn't indicate that you have a problem a dangerous world of anti-vax bowlers. You get what I'm saying? It's fucking ridiculous. So this is the kind of thing I wanted to go through with you guys. This is the kind of thing I want to use this time for, these live streams for, to spit out some of the things. Totally unscripted, less jokey, even though we have a laugh, we're going to have fun. But there's less prepared jokes and things like that. I'm not writing jokes for this stuff. I'm just going to come out here and chill with you guys and tell you about things that are pissing me off a little bit and call out the bullshit as we always do. Because this article really fucking annoyed me. Yeah. Really, really annoying that this individual used that. And if you look, so with this Anya, right, you might be thinking to yourself, well, all right, David, you've got a bit of evidence here. Like, yes, she clearly seems to time her posts and anti-vegan posts with what happens in the media and the social, situation. Like, okay, everybody hates anti-vaxxers right now. Great. Let's tie vegans with anti-vaxxers. Everyone hates, I don't know, whatever. Everyone hates racists right now. Like, even though, everyone's racist right now, basically. That was kind of June 2020, basically. Everyone's racist, therefore, and everyone hates them, and everyone hates white people. So let's tie vegans with that as well, right? She did that twice. If you don't believe me, and you think maybe I'm just like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm seeing things that aren't there. Like, no one does this. They don't try and tie vegans to other things. Maybe you need a bit more evidence. Well, look at the Daily Fail. Look what they just did. Outrageous moment. Notorious unvaccinated vegan activist turned anti-masker is thrown out of an IGA after Mark McGowan brought in sweeping new COVID rules. You see that? Notorious unvaccinated vegan activist turned anti-masker. Why are they calling Tash Peterson an anti-masker? Is it because she's an anti-masker? No, she's not an anti-mask activist whatsoever. I believe she's criticized the effect, like whether they work or not. But we should all be criticizing whether things work or not. You don't just you should be asking questions. It doesn't make you an anti-something if you're curious as to whether it works or not, which that's all she said publicly. She said, I'm not really 100% sure if they work or not, but I'll wear one if I'm supposed to, right? So now she's an anti-masker for that. But you see what they did? This is what they do. They took what she does, vegan activist, and they added the word unvaccinated and then anti-masker onto that as well. Absolutely hilarious. So this is the Daily Fail, and this is the Mail Online, whatever. This is what they do. So Anya for Vice and whoever this is for the Daily Fail, Levi Parsons, they're in the same boat. In the same boat. They've got an agenda against vegans, right? Propaganda, anti-vegan propaganda is what they're trying to put out there. So they try and tie vegans in with existing things that people are angry about. And it's a no-brainer. They get all the clicks, they get all that shit going on, and then obviously they get to brand vegans in the same boat as anti-maskers or anti-vaxxers, who are largely considered to be nutcases by most people. So then vegans get considered nutcases and they win, right? That's how they do it. So don't fall for it, guys. If you're a non-vegan watching this or an anti-vegan watching this, come on, you're better than that. You don't need these fucking journalists to tell you what to believe. Use your own mind. Talk to vegans. Talk to general average vegans, average people. You're here, aren't you? So you're listening to me. I'm telling you, this shit is fucking nonsense. So don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall into those traps. What the fuck are you guys doing in the comments? I see Chris is pretending to be an anti-vegan, Chris Hines, and you guys are debating him? Jesus. Hilarious, guys. Another story which I found very interesting but didn't include in the Face to Facts Friday, and I wanted to include in this absolutely fact live, was this story here. Billions of animals are slaughtered every year just to be wasted. This interested me because it's a story about food waste. It's not a pro-vegan article. It's not a pro-vegan website. It's made by Vox. This article's by Vox, right? Who are not pro-vegan, I don't think, at least. They're not a vegan, at least not a vegan news source. I mean, anyway. So they put this out, the staggering toll of food waste on animals. And I picked out a few interesting points here. Let's just get to this graphic here. Look at this shit. So this is how much food is currently wasted in the US. The dark blue is retail, and the light blue is consumer. So look, dairy, 12% 12%, 20%, you can read it, 10%, 19% in other dairy products, fish and seafood, 8 and 31%, eggs, 7 and 21, meat, 4 and 23, poultry, 4 and 18%, which these are insane levels. And although the statistics don't really tell a story, what really does tell a story is the numbers that come with them. You check this out. So Americans are throwing away 20. This is from 2010, so it's even more now probably. 26% of meat, poultry, and fish that they buy, they throw away, right? So when you're considering here, and they're saying here, more than 100 billion land animals, as well as they're killing 100 million land animals, 25 billion fish, and 15 billion shellfish. At this point, it was per year, I think, is what they were looking at for that 1 year at least. And most of them a lot of them are going into a landfill. So no, obviously, I don't stand by that argument of like, oh, if you don't eat the animal, they go to waste, because you shouldn't be killing them in the first place. But wow, it is a real spit in the face that they're just killed and go straight into a fucking landfill. I mean, people can try and defend, oh, I need my protein, blah blah blah. We can argue about that and debate that, obviously, but no one's going to debate that. What, they go into a fucking killing them to put them in a landfill? What the fuck is that? What excuse do you have for that? And it goes on, and they talk about how to waste less meat and stuff like that. But then they go on to this. Look at this: preventing food waste on the farm. It even includes this diagram here. How cool is that? To show that they're showing this, that they're cool, that this is a very pro-vegan article. 1957, a chicken weighed 905 grams. 1978, a chicken weighed 1.8 kilos. 2005, they're weighing 4.2 kilos. This is what farmers have done to them. So it's good that they show that, and they talk about why this is a problem. They're talking about, so someone reviewed some records and found a cold-related transport incident from a poultry company killed 34,000 birds in one go. So they're pointing this out. So it has some really good pro-vegan points in it as well, exposing what's going on in this industry. And there was one more statistic one more thing I wanted to show you. I found it to be really interesting. I think that was just before near the end. I wanted to show you that. Yeah, pretty much that's it. I mean, it's just the fact that how many literal millions of animals are killed to go and throw them in a landfill. I think that's just absolutely insane. So if you know someone who's not a vegan and you're looking for something to send them that's maybe not quite as, I don't know, they always accuse us of vegan propaganda. This would be a good one to send them, because it's not really a pro-vegan article. It really is just highlighting, it's more just highlighting the situation. So check it out. Billions of animals are slaughtered every year just to be wasted by Vox. Go and check that out and send it to somebody who you think would be interested in it. How's it going so far, guys? You enjoying this live stream? Is this the kind of thing you were up for? If you've got comments or something, something you want me to go over, something you want me to touch on that I haven't seen so far, you can use the Streamlabs donation link and I'll check it out. I'll respond to every single donation, guys. Remember that. I always do. So just send them over. You can also use Super Chat if you want, but Streamlabs is definitely better because it's they take a less of a cut. I see. I thought there might be some upset meat flakes here today from yesterday's, Friday's video. If you are here but you don't dare to leave a comment and you're wondering like, oh, is you going to talk about the videos? You're going to talk about the death threats to farmers? Yes, I am going to talk about that. I'm going to respond to all of your stupid meat flake comments in a little while. We're going to go through them. It's absolutely hilarious. How upset you guys are is phenomenal. And it's so, I'm going to explain why it's hilarious later on that you're upset, but oh my God, it makes me, I can't believe, I mean, I thought vegans were the snowflakes. I thought we were supposed to be the overly emotional, whiny crybabies, as you always call us, these meat flakes and anti-vegans call us. The crying and the tears in my comment section on that video is oh my God, it's next level. Can't wait, guys. We're going to get to that later on. Stick around. It's coming. It's coming. But next, I've got an interesting story for you from a very mainstream, well, kind of mainstream article from a big news outlet called The Intercept, which I was really happy to see. These guys have done a story about how prosecutors have silenced evidence from factory farm exposés with DXC. So basically, long story short, so DXC, some guys from DXC, I believe it was Wayne, and it could have been a few others, they did a big expose of some farms, and it went to court, and it was all going through, and then all of a sudden they just dropped all charges, and they're trying to sweep it under the rug because they've seen how much evidence these guys have got. They don't want to make it public, right? Which is fucking insane. So this article, these guys are investigatory journalists, The Intercept. They do investigatory journalism that others tend not to touch. And they have this is a long article, so I'm really not going to go into it that deep. It goes into every single kind of aspect of what happened. But I just think it's absolutely fantastic that these guys covered it in the first place. They're not a vegan company. It's not a vegan news outlet. So the fact that they covered it, what these activists did with, with Wayne and the guys at DXC, it is really amazing. It goes through all of the legal stuff that happened in the case, talks about, a few cases that went forward and how it's been going since since a couple of decades ago and stuff like that, and talks about how the courts are trying to hide the evidence that they have found. Basically, the courts over there are trying to hide it, so they have exposed it to everybody. So check this article out, guys, if you want to. Like I said, it's very data heavy and it's quite complicated. I don't really know the US legal system that well, which is why I've just layman's it to you, but definitely check that out. You can go just Google The Intercept prosecutors DXC, just put something like that, factory farm DXC, cruel factory farm DXC, and it'll come up. But I highly recommend you guys check it out. If you're into the legal side of things and you political activism, stuff like that, then definitely give that a go, guys. Give that a go. We've got a few more stories, and then we're going to get to the meat flakes, all right? I'm sure you guys are going to love this week's meat flakes. First off, though, we've got a weird-ass story. A really weird story, all right? So do you know how in the Face the Facts Friday, the last one, where I told you about this duck that got decapitated by this guy, and how kind of, how fucked up that was, that he decapitated a duck rather than doing it in a slaughterhouse. He did it in a street. I mean, how fucked up is that, right? Can't believe he wouldn't just take him to a slaughterhouse and do it. Mental. Anyway, I've got something even weirder to show you right now. This is just some mad stuff. Look at this. In New York, there are pigeon pirates, right? And they have been going out into New York City and with these big nets and catching pigeons. Like, look at these nets here. You can see it, right? They're going catching pigeons. What the fuck? How mad is that? So they're going catching these pigeons. Why are they doing it? They're doing it to sell them to gun clubs, apparently, so that people can go shoot them. I'm telling you, the thing is, it's like, it just gets weirder and weirder, doesn't it? Our situation, like the world. Do you know? Day by day, I see more and more new reasons to be shocked. I'm shocked every day by the madness that people do for money, and specifically the madness that people, the violence people put on animals for money. Like, why? Mental. For how much is he getting paid for that? To make it worth it, to go catch pigeons from the street and sell them off to be shot dead in gun clubs. How much would it have to be? You know what I mean? What the fuck is wrong with people? Who sees that and goes, yeah, that's a business opportunity. It is illegal, by the way, just to clarify. It's not like the police are just like, well, it's not breaking any laws. It is illegal. It's actually not allowed, but they're doing it anyway, aren't they? Mental. Absolutely mental. I've not got much else to tell you about that. It's kind of sad because I'm giving you some sad news without too much of an upside. But I'm shocked day by day. I'm still shocked every day, even though I'm kind of into this. This is what I do. These are the things I look at. These are the things I'm learning about. I'm still getting shocked every single day, every day. Let's take a look through some comments. Michael says humans are getting odder by the day, weirder and weirder. Absolutely agree. Humans are messed up. Can be. We bloody can be, can't we? We can be very messed up. Hench says, Sparrow just going live, people. We should spam tofu in his chat. Yeah, you could totally do that. Go spam some broccoli in there as well. Alison's like, did this just start? No, I've been going for about 30 minutes now. A snowflake is very, very beautiful if you look at it under a magnifying glass. Not sure why people use it as an insult. Yeah, Jethro. So snowflakes, they are the reason that people use snowflake as an insult. It's not because it's pretty. It's because it's delicate. If you touch a snowflake, it falls to pieces, right? If you breathe on a snowflake, it falls to pieces. That's what snowflakes are. Like human snowflakes too. It's like you breathe and they're like, I'm so offended. I'm so angry. That's where it comes from. I believe that's where it comes from. Did everyone see the Earthling Ed interview with the college student? She's a walking meme, and the interview was an instant classic. I watched it twice, lol. Yeah, I saw it on Instagram, and yeah, it's just What to say about that? We can watch it if you want. Maybe let's take a look at it. So which one was it with the? Is there like a clip of it somewhere we could maybe go to? Let's take a look if I can find like a short clip or if it's a long. I think it's quite a long video from him. We can take a quick look though, can't we? We've got time, guys. We've got time.
I just want to
little sabbatical. I mean, it's 22 minutes. Let me go and get his Instagram one because that's like a reel, so we could just get a flavor for it. I don't think I want to do 22 minutes of it. But the reel was pretty good. It's here. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. You guys should be able to see it now. Okay, let's have a little watch of this then. Oh God, where's the audio? Hey, excuse me. Excuse me, Instagram. All right, hold up. Let me get that sorted out. Why can't I? Since when is Instagram doing this shit to me? All right, wait, we got it now? Nope. Is it because it's too? Nope. Oh. Hold up.
People have lived their lives. Recognize how they were able to hunt, but in a way that honors the animal. Even if they're being killed or not, the animal is giving up its life for us. We are thankful for that animal for giving us its nutrients.
Indigenous people that have to hunt to survive, I have no bones with. I'm asking people at this university in Dallas why they are vegan.
Yeah,
because they're not an Indigenous person in Alaska who has to hunt to survive.
Yeah,
they're a person who is paying for an animal to be unnecessarily killed.
What I was describing then can be here at UTD Dallas. That's what I personally try to do. I see everything that has a soul. I try to treat every single thing with respect.
But you're appropriating Indigenous culture to
I'm
justify
not
arbitrarily harming.
I'm appreciating Indigenous culture.
But going into a supermarket and buying a piece of steak has nothing to do with that because they're going through a whole process that's predicated on their survival, whereas us, we're not doing that. So going into a supermarket and buying a steak is nothing like what they're doing. The only thing is an animal has died. But in that situation, it's justified, but in this situation, it isn't.
Look into how these Indigenous...
How does this person... I feel like when she's saying something like that, it's like a... I remember, right, when I first started doing outreach, when I first started making videos, when I first started, getting into this world, and I never heard anyone say anything like that, right? There's this whole kind of, we need to respect Indigenous culture, and I'm doing it because Indigenous culture, blah, blah, blah. It never came up. It's only come up in the past couple of years because this whole there's like a trend now where like Indigenous people are being used by people who aren't Indigenous, right? To, I don't know, it's like tokenizing them basically, and they use Indigenous people as anti-vegan arguments. They use Indigenous people for everything now. It's like, if they want to call you a racist, or they want to make out that you're a racist, or want to make out that you're evil or wrong in any way, there are these specific people like her that want to use Indigenous people to somehow, get you with that, right? It's kind of like what we talked about earlier, where like, okay, associate vegans with anti-vaxxers. Boom, you've got a great argument to trying to make out the vegans are stupid. Associate vegans with anti-Semites and racists. Boom, there you go. You got a great argument. Now she's like, associate vegans with people who don't respect Indigenous culture. Boom, you got another one, right? And this is pretty much how it goes, what she was attempting to do, except in this case, Earthling Ed, you're not going to win that, are you? Let's be honest, you're not going to win that. Okay, it was a nice little clip. I'll watch the whole thing for sure when I get a bit of time too, and maybe we could do a reaction to the whole thing of it being 20 minutes. Maybe do another time. We could do that. Would you guys like to do that? We could do it right now if you really want. Would you guys like to do a reaction to the full video, the full Earthling Ed video? I mean, technically, it goes with absolutely fact. I mean, it's the news. It happened recently. I'm happy to do it. If you want us to do that, to watch the Earthling Ed video right now, we could do it. Let me know in the comments. Say, David, I want to watch the Earthling Ed video. Go for the Earthling Ed video. Let's do that. If you want to do that, we can totally do that. Oh, we've already got one of you in there. Well, yeah, I was going to move on and come back to it, but if you're quick, then we'll do it right now. I've got a couple of stories, and then we've got the meat flakes. All right. You guys want the Earthling Ed video? All right, we can do that shit. I'm excited. Let's go for it. Trapped in the Matrix says, no, I cannot stand more of her. Tough shit. We're going to go and do it. We're going to go react to this Indigenous whatever I don't think she's indigenous, but she's using the indigenous argument, right? Let's have a see. By the way, I said I don't think I'm not. I don't know who she is. I've not watched this video yet. So can I make this bigger? Oh God, too big now. That should be good. You guys can see that, right? I mean, I can. Well, I'll tell you what I can do. Is that working? If I close that one down and put that one on, is that better? What's going on with this? Hey, oh no. Oh no. Stop. What the hell happened then? Bear with me, guys. We're going to get this all fixed up. Nice and fixed up. There we go. This is from the last video. Yeah, I had this page ready, didn't I? So it looks good now. Great. Let's have a watch then, shall we?
I see everything that has a soul. I try to treat every single thing with respect.
But you're appropriating indigenous culture to
I'm not
justify
appropriating
arbitrarily
indigenous culture.
harming.
I'm appreciating indigenous culture.
All right.
Hey Q, nice to meet you. My name's Ed, and today I'm at the University of Dallas with a banner that says, "Why aren't you vegan yet?" You've been listening to a conversation I've just been having.
Yes.
And it seems like you have some questions or some ideas or thoughts. So let me know what you think.
So my first question for you is, what is your opinion on the native tribes such as the Inuit who live up in Alaska who don't have easy access to these fresh produce that you're wanting them to eat and instead rely on the animals they hunt?
Yeah.
See, she's already pissed off. And why she's going in so fiery. What's that? Is it just me? Was he fiery too? Or is it just her being fired up already? Seems like she's already fired up, already gassed up and ready to argue.
Well, the issue of what we do to animals is an issue of necessity. This question of veganism comes down to the options and choices that we have. So there are obviously people in the world who don't have the availability or the access to be plant-based or to be vegan, who are maybe in tribes and in indigenous communities where they don't have the access that you and I have, where we live with the means that we have.
So just basically stating common sense, the common sense that she absolutely already knows. It's like she went in there like not knowing this. What does she think? Does she think vegans are telling people, hey, you know, if you need to use animal products to survive, no, you should starve to death? Yeah, that's what vegans are saying. Yeah, is that what she thought he was going to say? Do you think, or do you think she's just being a little bit silly and thinking she's got him without actually thinking through, right?
And so as a consequence of that, the morality of that situation is very different because they hunt animals and eat animals out of necessity. But the point of me being here with the banner about why aren't you vegan yet is to draw on the fact that it's about you and I and the situation that we have and the means that we have, which is why it becomes a moral issue for us.
Great answer. And that should just be the end of it, really, isn't it? She should just say, oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you dealt with that point. And you're right. I'm not in that position, so we can talk about me. But I guess it's not going to go that way.
I mean, you talk about, you know, us like we are not part of these indigenous tribes. I mean, these indigenous tribes, yes, they live, you know, out remote away from, you know, civilization, but many of them, you know, they don't see veganism as like, they don't want veganism.
You're acting that we are not part of these indigenous tribes. You are sat there with a can of Dr. Pepper at a university in America, sitting down doing an interview. Right? You're not part of an indigenous. Hey, I don't mean to break it to you. I'm really sorry to break this to you. I don't know if we're, you know, your delusion here. Maybe we need to get someone in here, someone who's a therapist or something, somebody who can help us get her out of this delusion without causing any problems, because she's deluded if she thinks she's part of a tribe. Anyway, so.
Because they... What about you?
I don't want to be vegan.
And why don't you want to be vegan?
I said.
Because... One, I I'm a neurotic, which means I'm very sensitive to certain things. So I already am, you know, picky about what I eat. And so trying to find like a substitute for the nutrients that I need is very risky. So eating meat that I know, meat that I understand, you know, it helps me that way. However, with these indigenous tribes...
That was a fucking lame... First of all, I'm sorry, but first of all, I had some sympathy because I thought, oh, she's got a problem. Okay. But then when she started talking about meat, I know, this I know, it's like, well, you could easily develop that same relationship with another food. If you've already developed it with meats, you could easily develop it with another food. Well, then again, you know, who am I to say? Who am I to say if our problem is? I can't say I fully understand that issue, can I? And how it would go. But I'm just saying, it sounds like an excuse. It sounds like a bad excuse to me. I'm not an expert on that being neurotic though. So I'm just giving you my opinion, guys.
They, because you have to understand, veganism is very much a white colonized thought. It very much is.
Well, people say that, but then also people say that when you look at the roots of non-harming animals for diets, it's deep-rooted in places like Hindu cultures and Jainist cultures.
Exactly, saying veganism is like a white colonialist thing. That's like saying caring about animals is a white colonialist thing. That is so fucking racist. The idea that you're saying that caring about animals is a white thing, what you're inferring is that not caring about animals is an everyone else thing. So you're saying that the majority of people, because the majority of people on the earth are not white, right? The majority of humans are not white. So you're saying the majority by far of the human population doesn't care about animals because caring about animals is a white colonialist thing. Is that what? Because that's kind of what you're saying, and that's not a. It kind of, I don't think it's a straw man. Like, I would like to ask her this, because that is kind of the intention. If you say veganism's a white colonialist thing, then by default you're saying not being vegan is what everyone else is doing, right? That's right. Isn't that how it works? Which is fucked up for someone, especially considering she probably consider herself like some anti-racist. That's fucking racist.
So the idea of abstaining from eating animals is very much deep-rooted in kind of like Buddhist, Hindu, and Jainist cultures, and not necessarily in a white colonialist process, at least.
Yes, but like Hinduism, they don't eat cows. They believe cows are sacred, but they eat other meats.
Well, not many don't, and historically many haven't as well. So I'm just saying that it's not strictly true that this idea of non-harm to animals is a strictly white colonialist thought. So I don't know if that holds up historically speaking.
Yeah, historically speaking, it's not. But this sudden boom of veganism is historically colonial.
The sudden boom of veganism is historically colonial. Wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Do you
mean by colonial in this context then?
I mean colonial as in the white colonizers, as in the Europeans coming colonizing half the world. I mean the Americans colonizing the West. There's a recent surge in, white liberals who believe they're doing good and who believe, such as, you and I'm not saying vegan is bad.
She's just described herself. There are some white liberals who are acting in certain ways, who are basically acting in racist ways with what's it called? What's it called when you? It's like subtle, soft bigotry. That's the one. Soft bigotry of low expectations is what she's doing. What she's doing here is saying that to be vegan is to be white, right? It's a white colonialist thing. She's suggesting, this is what I said earlier, that other people who aren't vegan, basically they don't care about animals. That's soft bigotry of low expectations. I guess she's about to go on to talk about privilege and how, white people can be vegan. I've not seen this video, but I'm guessing she's going to do that because of lots of privilege, blah, blah, blah. But then what she's saying is that people who aren't white can't go vegan because they don't have the privilege, which is a soft bigotry. It's bigotry. That is by definition, you are saying because they are not this, they can't do this. You're holding them back. She's the one saying they can't do it, right? They themselves will tell you, these people, whether they can or cannot do it. But it's not for her to say and to speak on their behalf, which is what she's doing, which is literally the definition of like being a bigot, being a racist, is telling people they can't do something on because of who they are, right? Which is what she's doing here.
Veganism is not bad. If you want to be vegan, be vegan.
Yeah, cool.
But when it comes to pressuring other people who don't want this and who have different beliefs. For instance, are you aware of the view of cosmocentrism?
No, you explain it to me.
So cosmocentrism is a worldwide view believed by many, many of its indigenous tribes in which everything is equal to each other. Me, you, the trees, the grass, the water, the rocks, the animals are all equal to each other. And animals hear us and they understand us. And so with many people, such as the not the Inuit tribe, there's another tribe in Alaska, starts with a K, I can't remember at the moment. They believe that the earth was made by the raven. Their god, to put it in terms, is a raven. Yeah. But they hunt elk and they hunt moose. Yeah. But they don't just hunt them, they respect the animal. They take everything from the animal and they thank the animal. Yeah. And they thank the animal in several ways.
Yeah, but he's already been through this. He's not sat here trying to get those people to come from those places where they do what they do to survive and trying to sit them here and tell them not to do it. He's talking to her, and she's not one of those people. So I don't know why this is still, why we're not talking more about the people that are at the university rather than why is she focusing on all these other people that aren't there?
They don't talk about hunting moose. They just say, I'm going to go out. Because they know the moose hears them. And if they say, I'm going to go hunt moose, the moose hears that and says, they are not worthy to have me.
Oh, okay.
They are not worthy to eat me. Yeah. And so it hides.
Because they presumably don't want to be killed if they're going to be alerted to that. But the point that I'm making is that I'm not in...
Oh my God. That should have been in... Oh, it's a shame Danny made his Earthling Ed highlight video before this came out, because that was amazing.
In those areas of the world, talking to indigenous people in those areas. I'm talking to people here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whilst we may make the argument that when we look at the rise of veganism as a popular cultural thing, it's kind of emerging from places in Europe, Australia, and the US. Actually, when you look at the growth rates of veganism, in America, one of the biggest demographics in terms of adopting veganism are African Americans. And so to make the claim that it's a strictly white colonialist thing doesn't hold up, especially as white vegans aren't going to indigenous communities in Alaska and aren't trying to impose that on them. I'm here in Dallas talking to people like yourself.
Physically, but through social media, there has been a push of people saying, Inuit tribes who hunt beluga whales, which are not endangered in any way. People are saying that's wrong, you can't do that, and they say that is our only source of nutrients.
But at the same time, what can be easy to do, especially when we have views about a certain group of people, is we can take people from that group who kind of maybe portray views that could be considered extremist or views that could be considered impractical, and we can use those to try and almost, caricature the whole movement.
See that squirrel there in the background? Did you guys catch that squirrel? That's how quickly I get distracted.
Itself. And so I'm not going to disagree that there are certain vegans who will make that claim, but by and large most vegans, including myself, have a more of a...
Thank you so much, Valeria, for your £5 donation. Thank you. I was trying to see what if it was pounds or dollars. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And next time, or if you're gonna do another one, make sure to put a message there too so I can read it out. And remember guys, if you're gonna send through donations, use Streamlabs or Super Chat and I'll respond to you. You're fucking legends if you do it. And also just remember this as well. This stream will not be monetized. I will make no money from this video at all because of the topics we've discussed, and also because it's going on the second channel. So if you want to support me and help me keep going, then yeah, please send through some make some donation comments and give me some opinions and some stuff to comment on and stuff like that. Send it through, guys. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. And thank you so much to, I cannot pronounce I don't know what this name is. Thank you so much for your $1 tip. Really appreciate it. You're a fucking legend. So are you, Valeria. Thank you both so much. Remember, send a message through as well, guys. I'll read it out live on air. If it's suitable, I mean, obviously, I'm going to read everything out. Don't say anything mean, guys. Nothing too mean, anyway.
A nuanced understanding that there are people in the world who have a different relationship based on the environment that they live in, and hence I'm not going to make the claim that people who are hunting belugas out of necessity to survive should be held to the same moral standard that you and I can with the choices that we have.
Do you see that jump that squirrel just made? Holy shit, look at that. Look at that jump. Watch.
To survive should be held to the same moral standard that you and I can with the choices that we have.
And that's amazing. I love squirrels. Anyway, Ed's chatting, dropping bombs, by the way. I'm listening, but that squirrel was a cool squirrel.
That's what's important.
You say moral standard because you're saying that them hunting beluga is morally wrong.
No. I'm saying in a situation of necessity, it's different. Like with humans. If I said, shooting a human is morally wrong, it is. But if you have to shoot a human out of necessity, then it becomes morally justified. So I can say harming an animal is morally wrong, but if you have to harm the animal to survive, then it can become justified.
Makes sense, huh?
So issues
obviously not to her.
Morality are always nuanced based on the circumstances, but by and large the general rule should be if we can avoid causing unnecessary harm to someone, morally speaking we should try to pursue that option. What do you think about that?
I mean, yeah, I fully agree. And so my question is just why are you here asking these people why we're not vegan? What is your reason for that?
Because it's a thing that we don't often think about. It's an idea that most of us don't kind of like consider when we're buying food. And most of us in society are against animals being unnecessarily harmed. And so morally speaking, we already agree that reducing suffering for animals is morally preferable. But when we go into a supermarket or onto an ordering app or whatever and we buy food, we don't really think about the process of what we're supporting because, it's culturally normalized. We've been raised with that. And so the purpose of me being here isn't with this kind of naive opinion that everyone's going to sit down, agree with me and be like, hey, Ed, I'm going to be vegan now. But it's to try and like maybe ask questions and talk about topics that people maybe haven't considered and to kind of get maybe a deeper reflection on those values and ideas because it is a moral issue and morally we do agree with reducing suffering. It's just that we haven't always thought about the suffering that occurs for our food that we consume.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. Thank you so much again I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name. Maybe you could type your name in the chat so I can call you by your name. But you said, I love your reels on TikTok, fun, educative videos. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And thank you for the $1 tip. I really like making those reels and I did some on TikTok. They were a while ago, but I'll put some more on TikTok. I'm inspired again now, so I'll do that again. All right. Ed's doing really well here. Well, obviously, I mean, it's not like, how often does he not do well? But this is a particularly good video. I think he's really nailing it. It's inspirational stuff.
Okay, so I know because I was raised in the Texas education system. Yeah. I'm sure many people here were.
I'm sure.
We were all taught high school, like health class or whatever, how fast food was made, and they show us like the slaughter camps and all of that of the animals and whatnot. And they try to traumatize us and whatnot. And they're like, don't eat fast food. That's why you only eat, real meat and whatever. Yeah. But then they don't say that that exact same process happens for real meat. So one, that's, a whole issue. But you have the
Thank you so much, JP Julia. For your $10 donation, $10 tip. Enjoying the chat. Keep up the great work for the animals. Thank you so much. Glad you're enjoying it here. And you guys are fucking legends. All of you who are in the donations and giving these tips, you're all fucking legends. But especially JP and Julia, they're special legends. You guys should get more involved in the actual live chat. Let some people know who you guys are. They're two activists, guys, JP and Julia, relatively new to activism. So give them some love in the chat. They're getting out on the streets and doing activism. Doing outreach and stuff, which is awesome. And to any more of you that do that, I know a lot of you do. You're all fucking heroes. You're all legends. I'm actually excited to get back out and do some myself when I get back to a city where we can get out and do this stuff. And I've got a few videos coming as well that have some outreach videos. So, all right, let's see what else she's got to say.
Plant-based produce, right? You have who is growing this plant-based produce? It's immigrants who are undocumented, who are being paid cents a day they are being exploited on their own reason. Yeah. Yes, animals are being exploited and they're being harmed, but so are humans. Yeah. And so
we've gone from indigenous people though to whatever my condition though, and now we're on to what about people who pick the fruits and vegetables though. Well, let's see how I handle this really difficult argument.
What's morally overall better to have plant-based? Yeah. That's also like it's a gray area because you're also furthering harm on these people.
So we have a very imperfect system, not just agriculturally speaking, but just generally speaking. Yeah. There is a huge amount of exploitation that happens in all different systems, and that's unfortunately a thing that needs to be challenged. So I will never say that veganism is perfect, that plant-based production is perfect. It isn't. What it is it's a reduction of harm. And the reason it's a reduction of harm is because everything you just described in terms of what's happening to humans happens in the animal farming industries as well. It's the same people growing the feed for the animals. It's the same people working in the factory farms and undocumented migrants. And it's those people working in slaughterhouses.
You see her looking away? She's getting so schooled, it's making her uncomfortable. Let's just go back a couple of seconds here.
Same people working in the factory farms and undocumented migrants, and it's those people working in slaughterhouses.
That's the look of discomfort right there.
And slaughterhouse work has been shown to increase rates of PTSD, mental health problems, suicide, drug and alcohol abuse. So the situation of animal farming also causes intense human suffering, and in many ways the same, and also with an add-on of what happens in a slaughterhouse. So it's a reduction of suffering, but it doesn't mean we should stop there. We should challenge that, and what we need is a plant-based food system that takes out the animal suffering and challenges that suffering of humans as well to create a fairer system for everyone.
What can you even say to that, Ed? Amazing stuff, mate. And remember, guys, we just wanted to let you know this little intermission here that later on in the video we are going to go through some of the most crybaby meat flakes I've ever seen in my life. They're very upset with me from a video I made on Friday, posted Friday. We're going to watch the bit they're upset with. I'm going to respond to their tears, all right? So stick around for that. That's coming a little bit later. Let's get back into this video with Ed.
I agree. Have you considered going about it perhaps the other way? Saying, we need to focus on humans first. We need to focus on getting these undocumented immigrants, one, that, you know, making them welcome in this country, giving them fair pay, giving them fair rights, all of these things, making them not fear being deported, because then once you get their support, they'll be much more likely to help us in reducing the harming of animals. They'd be able to help us, say, to go on strike against these slaughter facilities. You know, it's all about how you go about things. Yes.
We can do both at the same time, though, is the argument I'd make. But we can tackle this animal exploitation and the human animal exploitation at the same time and create a system which is growing plants, which is best for animals, and takes into consideration the rights these humans deserve, so that we create a fairer system for everyone.
In a perfect world, we can go about it at the same time. This is not a perfect world, and that it would be an incredibly difficult thing to do. And so
It might be incredibly difficult to just choose something different at the supermarket while you fight for the rights of workers. You know, it's not like you have to pay for animals to be brutally killed in slaughterhouses because you want to save people. You can avoid that and also work for people, right?
Incredibly difficult, whatever, so we might as well try to do that. And the first thing we can do is abstain from the animal products.
Absolutely.
And then with our time, if this is something like you yourself clearly care about and for a righteous and just reason, we can take out the animals and then campaign to create accountability for the farmers to make sure that they're treating humans right. Of course it's going to be a challenge, but it's a challenge whichever route we take, so let's take the route that gets us to where we want to be for the benefit of everyone.
I mean, either way, you're going for the benefit of everyone. That way is just your worldview. You're wanting to help the animals.
She doesn't know what she disagrees with. Exactly what he said that she disagrees with. She just wants to disagree. You can see it. Like, I'm no expert, guys. Please don't ever think I'm an expert. But I watch people and I like to try and I figure people out, and I'm quite observant of people's facial expressions. And her face is all contorted and very. It seems to me it's very clear that she's come along to fight him. She's not quite interested in agreeing. She's agreed with him like on one small thing, but that she's happy to lose a couple of battles to win the war, right? This is I feel like this is a thing to her. It's kind of a game, and this is, well, it's a cognitive dissonance thing. It's what happens. She won't acknowledge that she should change. This is her way of defending her decision not to change, is to keep on arguing as much as she can. She can't just say, I agree with you, and that's that. I agree with you, but that's what she'll do. Thank you so much for another donation. Patience is a virtue, and Ed has got that. He absolutely has. Thank you so much, you legend. Really appreciate that. Another tip. You fucking legends. Thank you.
First and then humans second.
We can do both at the same time.
Yes, but you are deliberately going animals first, slaughterhouses, then to the agricultural plants. It doesn't matter if you are also helping humans in that slaughterhouses. Your main focus is those animals, is it not?
My main focus is to create a better agricultural system for everyone, and veganism is that, because veganism isn't just about consuming plants, it's about creating a system that reduces exploitation, and that's not just to non-human animals. So as a vegan, I wouldn't be, if we had a situation where it was just plant-based agriculture, but everything you're describing still exists, well, as vegans, I would hope, and I certainly would as a vegan, think, well, this isn't where we want to be. So I'm not saying that it's about just animals, I'm saying it's about humans as well. But we shouldn't just say, hey, let's try and help the humans in slaughterhouses, but not help the animals in slaughterhouses, when we can help animals and humans in slaughterhouses by not paying for it, and then help those workers.
Get, plant-based products from those type of companies? Do you know those companies that do that? Are you avoiding that, or are you still buying from those companies?
Well, the supply chain is murky, isn't it? And so I can't sit here and say honestly that I don't pay for that to happen, because I can't honestly say that. But that doesn't mean that I agree with it. And if I had the choice in front of me in a supermarket to say, hey, this comes from here and this comes from here, if I had that choice, I would buy that. But we don't have that choice yet, because the supply chains are so, ubiquitously bad.
Yeah,
so we need to challenge that as well.
Meat-based products, there are companies that do that, that, but there are also companies that don't. There are organically grown.
But they still cause harm. They still end up in the same slaughterhouses. They're still killed in the same way.
No. I'm talking about those that are like very local, very.
Yeah, I know.
They kill animals again in a humane way. Again, the idea is that.
What does humane mean? You know, when we say humane.
If you kill them in a humane way where they don't feel pain, in a halal way, right? They don't feel pain, where they are cooked a certain way, right? They don't have any added stuff, any non.
What is halal? How do they kill animals halal?
They kill them without pain.
How describe the process?
I cannot tell you specifically because I am not Muslim.
But you can tell me that they die without pain, but you can't tell me how they.
Yes, because I have Muslim friends and I ask them, I'm like, what does halal mean? They say,
why would you fucking sit there and quote something you know fucking nothing about? They kill them in a halal way. It's really good. Okay, could you tell me what that is? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like the 101 rules of having a debate. Don't debate things you know fuck all about. And if you don't know anything about it, you could ask a question about it, or you could say, I don't know too much about this, but here's what I'm going to say. Or you just don't fucking say it, do you? And she said it so confidently, didn't she? Like, so like, this is this. And then he's like, okay, then what is it? I don't know.
Basically, they're killed in a very specific way where they, as less pain as possible.
Can I tell you how they're killed? They have their throats cut, but they're not rendered unconscious. So they're conscious and they have their throats cut.
Is that how they're killed in the halal way?
Yeah. Kosher and halal, that's what it means.
But, okay, so, again, that's all about anatomy.
Do you think that sounds compassionate?
It's more compassionate than other ways of killing them.
It is, but is it more compassionate than not killing them?
They're gonna... The base of the problem is, if you have respect for the animal, right?
Can you respectfully cut their throat for an unnecessary reason?
That's what indigenous people do. Indigenous people hunt in a respectful way.
But people who buy meat from slaughterhouses when they don't have to.
From slaughterhouses, no. But again, if you go from organically sourced, small, very small.
She's just a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. I try to be reasonable, right? But she is an unreasonable person. This is not a debate. This is a child shouting, kicking, and screaming at somebody who's calm and educated and wants to have a conversation. This is all this is. I know Ed's really good at staying calm, right? But if I had her going at me, I'd also stay calm, because I would know that the longer I can keep her going, the more content we're going to create, and the more people that are going to watch her and be like, even the more non-vegans specifically that are going to watch her and go, fuck, like she is embarrassing. I don't want to be like that.
Companies, their meat is expensive because they are so small, but
they're still killed in the same way, though. They may be raised slightly different, but they're still killed in the same way. The standards still apply. Halal, kosher, or even just the USDA, humane regulations. It's the same in all slaughterhouses. They're raised in the same way. They still are able to have a better life. They're able to go out in the pastures and they're able to live life as a cow. But they're still killed in a slaughterhouse.
But you can kill them. I'm saying you can kill them in the cosmocentric worldview. You can kill them in a respectful way where you thank the animal.
Does that help the animal? Does us thanking the animal help?
As long as you don't fucking tell that moose you're coming to kill them, hey, remember that from earlier. You just don't tell them you're coming to kill them. They're gonna run away because they don't want to be killed, and they can hear you when you're talking about killing them, in this central, what did she call it, this view thing she's talking. I know what she's talking about. It's just a lot of mumbo jumbo woo woo fucking nonsense that she's trying to use to defend killing animals. Basically summarized, right? This whole thing summarized in one sentence is that
worldview. Yes, it does.
But would it not be better just to eat the plants?
No, because
morally there's no difference.
Has to remain balanced. So
there's no balance in animal farming. Animal farming destroys balance. It destroys the environment. We're artificially breeding animals into existence. We're selectively breeding them, giving them hormones, and then we're killing them in slaughterhouses. But we're talking about slaughterhouses right now.
I'm not talking about slaughterhouse. I'm talking about locally grown ranches,
which
right?
still go to the same slaughterhouses.
They do not go to the same slaughterhouses,
they do. They may be raised differently, but they're killed in the same ways. They're killed in the same methods with the same techniques. They're killed in the same ways,
but they do not go to slaughterhouses. They stay at the ranch. These are their own meat suppliers. They grow and kill their own meat.
They may have local slaughterhouses, but it doesn't matter. They're killed in the exact same way. They may not go to some of the big industrial Smithfield slaughterhouses, but they're still killed in the same way. And for that individual animal, the experience that they endure is the same because the method and the action is still the same.
Of course.
The action is still the same, but it's, again, least pain as possible, so they're cutting the throat at the right place where the cow, honestly, just falls unconscious. They don't feel...
She just learned about this when Ed told her. He just taught her what halal is, and now she's talking about it like she's an expert. What the fuck is this?
They bleed out. And are we saying that is it compassionate to unnecessarily kill someone else? Is that compassionate?
Someone else? No, it's an animal.
But we're animals too.
Oh, Jesus.
We are animals too, but we are different from animals in that we have conscious thought.
So do they. They're conscious. And if they're not a someone, what are they? A something?
They are something that, see, that I'm trying to explain the cosmos, like with cosmocentric worldview and with animism, right? Again, something indigenous people, most indigenous tribes believe in. There is a difference, right? You know, you have to understand that the indigenous people, they were doing this before us.
But I'm not so interested in indigenous people. I'm not interested in people in those scenarios. I'm just talking about the everyday person.
It doesn't have to be in their scenarios. I myself am trying to follow the cosmocentric worldview, and so I only try to buy meat products that were sourcely grown, raised, and slaughtered here, right? So I know that they living their full life. They were not stuck in 2x2 pens or whatever, but they were still respected, right?
But they don't live their full life. You know, they're killed, you know, cows can live to 20, 25. They're killed at 12 to 24 months. And respect is a mutual thing. When you sat down with me, we've had a respectful conversation because we've listened, we've engaged with each other.
She's not listened, mate.
You know, we haven't shouted over each other, we haven't cursed, we haven't been nasty, and that's respectful because it's a mutual. I'm trying to understand your thoughts and your feelings, and you know, I feel like you're reciprocating and doing the same for me. But
she's not.
what we do to animals isn't respectful because it's a non-consensual thing. We force them into these environments for something that we want.
Not necessarily non-consensual. Again, with the cosmocentric worldview, the moose will gladly give himself up to the hunter.
Does the cow...
Oh my God. Yeah, moose. I've seen that a million times. A moose just walking over to a hunter and going, yeah, slit my throat, mate. Yeah. It's fucking delusional.
Gladly walk into the slaughterhouse and present their throat.
No, technically, no. But a cow is different from a moose in that they are domestic.
Sure,
right?
but they're still sentient, they still have feelings. To domesticate just means that we've kind of like, you know, given them certain traits to make them more passive so we can farm them, but they're still inherently the sentient, conscious beings, just like the moose and the elks and other animals in the wild.
Yes, but it's...
Yes, but...
It's hard to explain if I don't have my notes with me, but there is that nuanced difference that many indigenous tribes have followed. You have, for instance, the Comanche tribes, right, who hunted buffalo or the bison.
Why are we still on tribes and indigenous people? We've been through this now a million times.
Some could argue in an inhumane way. They would chase them off cliffs. They would, you know, they would kill them. They would feel harm, but they still thanked the animal. They still took everything from that animal. If we took everything from the cow and put it to use instead of just taking the meat and throwing the rest away.
We don't. We boil the bones down, turn it into gelatin. We do use everything. We use blood and make it into different things. So we do use everything from the animal. But that issue of respect, again, I think you can do something more respectfully when you have to, which these indigenous tribes, they have to. But for most people in society, they're paying for animals to be put into a slaughterhouse when they don't have to. And these things are being done to these animals, and it's not consensual. They don't willfully walk there. So it's an unnecessary action that doesn't need to take place by the virtue of it being unnecessary. And we have an option that reduces that harm that we can cause. And that's the primary argument I'm trying to make, that we have a choice. We have choice. And when people have choice, that's when these issues become moral issues.
Would it be different if I were to say, grow my own chickens and kill my own chickens and eat them?
No, because we're still killing them. We're still taking their life from them when we don't have to. So whilst that system may be preferable for the chickens up until the point that they're killed, that point still has to arrive. And that point is when it becomes an immoral thing because you're needlessly taking their life from them.
I'm not needlessly taking their life. I gotta eat.
But you don't have to eat.
It's fine. Oh, God. Oh, make it stop.
Them.
That can be argued, right?
Well, no. For most people, it can't be argued. That's the point. For most people, it can't be, and that's the point I'm making. For most people, they don't have to cut the throat of the chicken. They could just eat something else instead.
Yeah, okay, if you don't want to eat meat, don't eat meat, all right? That's the fair thing. But you trying to...
But you...
You know, you say broaden the horizons of these people, but really you're wanting to make them feel guilty for consuming these meat products.
No. I'm not trying to make anyone feel guilty. I'm just having a conversation where I'm asking people why they're not vegan and trying to establish their views on it. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm just trying to ask questions and, and respond to your questions that are, authentic to my feelings and in a way that potentially allows us to reach some commonality, which I think is important here. So I'm not trying to make you feel guilty, but interestingly, guilt is an emotion which comes from the sense of morals. If we feel guilty about something, it comes from the sense of there's something to feel guilty about. If I pick up a rock and throw the rock on the floor, I don't feel guilty. If I pick
Mark HNS, thank you so much for the tip, bro. She's nauseating. A woman who supports murder is the antithesis of what women should stand for. Kindness and nurturing. Thank you, David. It's the antithesis of what anyone who considers himself to be a good person would stand for. Absolutely. It's always horrible to see someone sitting down who seemingly cares about people and cares about life, say these horrendous things. It is really disappointing. Thank you so much for the tip, mate. You're a fucking legend.
Pick up a piglet and throw a piglet on the floor, I do, because I recognize that action is causing harm, and that's why I feel guilty. So guilt can often be a powerful emotion in helping us determine how we view something when it comes to that being right or wrong.
Last thought before I go to class, you were talking about picking up the rock, throwing it on the ground. Indigenous people see that rock as a soul. It has a soul,
sure.
Right? And so they also would not pick up a rock and throw it on the ground.
I'm not saying that I would do that, but I'm just saying that I would feel less guilty because I recognize that action causes less harm. And the feeling of guilt that you have comes from the concept that there's a notion of harm being inflicted.
So what I would encourage you to do is to look into cosmocentric worldview, to look into how these indigenous people have lived their lives thousands of years before we have come to them, and recognize how they were able to hunt, but in a way that's a community. They bring the community together in a way that honors the animal, in a way that even with the cow, the domestic cow, they do it in a way that honors the animal. Even if they're being killed or not, the animal is giving up its life for us. We are thankful for that animal for giving us its nutrients.
Indigenous people that have to hunt to survive, I have no bones with. I'm accepting that people have to do that to live. So, like I've said, and just want to say right again at the end, the situation you're describing is not the situation I'm here to oppose.
No.
I'm asking people at this university in Dallas why they are vegan. Because they're not an indigenous person in Alaska who has to hunt to survive. They're a person who is paying for an animal to be unnecessarily killed.
It's not about, what I was describing then couldn't.
Thank you so much, Hexproof Anarchist, for the donation, $2. It's ignorance and lack of empathy equals the root of carnism. Absolutely agree. Great comment. You always make good comments here. You got the thumbs up from Joey last time as well. He liked your comment too. Thank you. Keep it coming, mate. Really appreciate it. You're a fucking legend.
Be here at UTD Dallas. That's what I personally try to do. I see everything that has a soul. I try to treat every single thing with respect.
But you're appropriating indigenous culture to justify arbitrarily harming.
I'm appreciating indigenous culture.
But going into a supermarket and buying a piece of steak has nothing to do with that, because they're going through a whole process that's predicated on their survival, whereas us, we're not doing that. So going into a supermarket and buying a steak is nothing like what they're doing. The only thing is an animal has died. But in that situation, it's justified. But in this situation, it isn't.
I gotta get class.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Q. Have a great day.
Gosh, that ending was that's so fucking disrespectful. And it's like all the way through, he's trying to be fair. And she showed her true colors at the end. She picked up a phone and walks away after he's been so calm, so patient, so gentle, so understanding of her. Just a total asshole. Well done, Ed, for keeping it so civil and more than civil. He was even too polite. Like he actually didn't. There was so many. She teed him up so many times for him to just take, just smack it out of the park. But he didn't do it. He had so many times he could have done it, but he didn't do it. So Ed, fair play, mate. You kept it together. I could never have kept that shit together. I would have had her screaming at me, no doubt, because I couldn't take that shit. So Ed, really well done, mate. Really, really good from you. And wow, she must be so embarrassed by that video. I bet she's getting so taken the piss out of on campus for that. No doubt. Inspires me, Ed, to go and do something like that again and do something a bit more like that. It was a really good video, and it's inspiring to be a bit calmer, to be a bit calmer like Ed. And maybe sometimes, just sometimes, and not all the time though, because that's not why you guys are here, is it? If you wanted Ed, you'd go watch Ed. Right, let's do what we've been waiting for, right? we're not doing the meat flake song, but we are going to get into the meat flakes. But actually, oh no, we got one more story before we get into the meat flakes, maybe. Michael, thank you so much. A shot for every time she says yes, but my liver is packed in. Thank you so much for the donation, Michael. You fucking legend. And you're absolutely right. Yeah, you would be wiped out by that game. So let's take a look at the last video I made. I was making a joke about this article, right? Oh shit, we got the wrong page on. Let's just get the other one on. Ba-bum, there we go. This article here. This Veg News, 15 best vegan Valentine's Day gifts that aren't chocolate. Now, obviously, I used this article to tee up a joke where I give my own, vegans Valentine's Day presents, right? But in this one, these are real ones. So this one's like wine tasting kits, a handbag, some slippers. This is pretty shit, actually. Perfumes, body scrub, something from Lush, another bag, candles, a yoga mat, pajamas, a kettle, whatever this is, alcohol, a plant, some jelly mask, and some coffee. So actually, mine's actually better than this list. This is actually, I'm sorry, Veg News, but that's a pretty shitty list. I don't know what kind of people you guys know, but that's like, earlier on she was like saying, oh, the whole white people privilege thing. That shit, that is like the whitest Valentine's Day list ever. Like only privileged rich white people are going to be buying that shit for each other. I can guarantee you that. Because who the fuck else would be interested in it? Anyway, so I made my own jokes from that. Arthur, thank you so much, dude. She's too stupid. She doesn't have enough empathy. Concrete of the sidewalk tastes better than Hey, come on now. Let's not be too harsh. That's too harsh, all right? I mean, she's a fucking idiot, but come on. All right, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Right. So, let's take a look at what happened when I took this article in my last Face to Facts Friday. I made a joke about it, and I actually made my own version of 5 of the things that you would get, right, on Valentine's Day. So here's what I said, right? Are you ready, guys? If you haven't seen it already, let's do from a few seconds back. Okay, let's have a look. What did I say? Go vegan because you are a semi-decent human being who gives a shit about animals. How about that? I know it's hard for us men, and I'm a generous guy. So I found this great article about the best Valentine's Day gifts to get a vegan, and I'm going to give you a few tips. Take her to a field. Vegans love grass, and grazing helps the countryside. It's called regenerative farming. Go for a B12 shot together so she can remember her name again. Print off an A4 size photo of Earthling Ed's face. Very relevant right now. Now, bear in mind, guys, these are things I made up. These are jokes that I made up pretending to be that article for my video, right? Just to have a bit of fun, that's all. Just have a bit of fun about it. And some people are very upset with this. Very, very angry. I'm talking like, they're like, I'll show you in the comments. These are the meat flakes we're going to respond to today are from this video, from this section, all right? So have a guess at which of these you think has really upset them, these little crybabies. Let's take a look. Wear it as a mask and say things like moral agency and unnecessary suffering. How relevant, huh? And he definitely said the unnecessary suffering one in that last video. I promise you, she'll love it. Send death threats to a farmer. No, that's not funny. All farmers aren't bad, and we need to remember that. Send death threats to an animal farmer. Go on a date at McDonald's and scream murderer at everybody going in. She'll absolutely love it. I promise you guys. Now, which of those do you think has upset people? Guys, which of those do you think has got people all riled up and upset? Any guesses? Any guesses at all? Well, if you were to guess the death threats to farmers bit, you would be right. Now, before we get into these comments, let's just establish something here, right? These comments that I just made, right, here in that video, okay, were they pro-vegan or anti-vegan? Let's establish this, right? Let's go through the points. One of them was get her a B12 shot so she can remember her name again. Is that a pro-vegan or an anti-vegan comment, guys? What would you say? Get her a B12 shot so she can remember her name again. Put a picture of Earthling Ed on your face and say things like unnecessary suffering and moral agency. Is that pro-vegan or anti-vegan, guys? Take her to a field so she can graze. It's called regenerative farming. Is that pro-vegan or anti-vegan? Take her to McDonald's to scream murderer at people. Is that pro-vegan or anti-vegan. You see a trend here? You see that whole segment I wrote as an anti-vegan segment. It's because it's satire. The point is, it's making fun of things that we think vegans would do. The joke is that vegans don't actually do those things. I'm making fun of vegan stereotypes. So you see now, the farmer death threat bit, that's a vegan stereotype that is not true. It's funny because I'm saying to do it because it's not true. It's not something that vegans do, but I'm using it to insult vegans by suggesting they would like it, right? You see, that's the definition of satire. That's what it is. It's satirical. We know it's not true. We know that saying it would offend vegans, but because I am a vegan, we're making fun of ourselves. It's satirical. Now let's take a look. Let's take a look what happened, shall we? So in the comments, we'll go newest first. Let's see if there's any new ones since I last checked. I guess you guys can see this nice and big. Hopefully they close this channel off. Someone's very upset. Send death threats to animal farmers. A weedy ginger herd spaz skating on the thin ice that is YouTube terms of service. Send death threats to animal farmers. If you watched this video and thought that that's what I was saying, you are a fucking moron. And then the replies. Oh my God. Wait, I will check the replies. Some of them have good replies. Good going, loser. Take the video down or you're getting a visit from the FBI. This video has been reported. Well, the FBI is going to come to Finland. Yeah, sure, mate. I'm sure the FBI is going to come knocking on my door in Finland for satire, for satirical content. YouTube not noticed the death threats instigation there. Am I missing something? Is there anything else in here? No, I thought it might be something. So basically, like at least three anti-vegan channels made videos about this, by the way. I did a little search to see where these morons were coming from, and I found it, yeah. Lol, you chiclet-toothed tard. You've really screwed the pooch on this one. I do believe you're about to be cancelled. Yeah, I'm going to get cancelled for satire, really. Like, are they going to come after me for the same reasons they're going after Jimmy Carr right now? You guys see what Jimmy Carr did recently? Made a joke about a specific event in history. He's getting absolutely smashed for that. For promoting terrorism, Rams, I hope you get taken down on every single platform you're on. Notice how it's always, well, not always, but mostly the beat flakes that can't actually spell. I'm not being like a grammar Nazi or anything like that, but yeah, I'm kind of am as well. Send death threats to a farmer. Send death threats to an animal farmer. Mate, you are a complete piece of shit. Now, the reason that I find this extra hilarious is that it's so clearly in the video, it's so 100% clearly satire. Like, there is no room for doubt, which means either these people didn't watch the video, right, which is most likely the case, or one of these other anti-vegan idiots channels has took the video and took it out of context and played it so it looks like I'm just saying that seriously, without the context of this being like a series of anti-vegan jokes that I made against vegans, right? Without that context, okay, I understand why some of them are angry. But that's why I find this so absolutely hilarious that they're so angry, is because it is such a satirical, it is such a purely satirical joke. It's beyond a joke. It's pure satire. It's mocking vegans directly. You know, that some vegans make death threats to animal farmers, right? Because I am clearly not behind that. I think it's, I don't like that. I don't like people who do that, which is why I included it as an anti-vegan joke, right? So anyway, let's keep going. Send death threats to animal farmers. So this is what vegan compassion is, huh? Send threats to animal farmers. Tired of killing wildlife? Humans next on your kill list. So you want people to send death threats to animal farmers? Yeah, for sure. You were so compassionate. Reported. What are these? Reported to the police. You think the FBI and the police and all these, they're all going to come knocking up my door because I made not a joke, because I made a satirical piece I made a satirical anti-vegan section of my video, an anti-vegan bit. Yeah, the police are going to come and I'm going to get shut down. Everything's going to go horribly wrong because of this satire. Twat. Really? I don't think so, Mr. Rams. Reported. Hilarious that a vegan would send death threats to pretend to be compassionate. Okay, reported. Send death threats to a farmer. What's wrong with you? It basically just goes on like that. I think we're pretty much. There's a few more, I think, maybe, but oh my lord. So that's what I wanted to show you, that the meat flakes of today. It's absolutely fantastic that they're so upset and all those salty meat flake tears, just drinking them up because of a satirical bit in a video that's packed with jokes. I mean, as I said at the beginning, I thought it was the vegans that were supposed to be the snowflakes that get upset and offended over everything, right? I thought we were the ones that were packed with estrogen from our soy. So many soybeans, so much tofu. We're just sweating estrogen. Just crying all the time, right? I thought that was us. I didn't realize that was these guys. I didn't realize until now that was the anti-vegans, the anti-vegan farmers. Phenomenal. So that's what. There you go, guys. There's the meat flakes of the absolutely fact live stream. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about those meat flakes, huh? So it's good fun, right? Get in the comments, guys, if you wanna get in the comments of that video and let them know how silly they're being with this. Definitely go for it. It's cracked me up. I'll tell you what. Really, when it dawned on me that the absolute hilarity of the fact that it was an anti-vegan session, an anti-vegan joke session. Anyway, I had a good fun reading that, guys. I had real good fun. If you want to see these videos, guys, and videos like this one, like the live streams and the replays and stuff like that, remember to go over to my second channel and subscribe to The Ram's Den, guys. The Ram's Den. So it's the second channel that all the live streams are going to go on, and click those notifications on so you don't miss out, because I'm going to be posting all these live streams. We're also going to be posting clips from live streams, different clips of different videos from longer videos. They're going to be going on the Rams Den. So you don't want to miss that. So get over there, smash that notification bell on, go leave comments and likes on the videos. Go and get involved there, guys. Let's get that channel up to the level of this channel in terms of get it monetized so it's making money, get the views up. It could be just as big as this channel, and we got two different channels doing two different things, which is really cool, right? I think I'm really excited to try and make this happen, make this work, but I can only make it work with you guys. There's 87 of you here right now, so get over there and subscribe and turn on notifications, guys. It's a good channel. I hope you've enjoyed today. I've enjoyed it. It was nice to come on and chill out a little bit more and relax a little bit more. No script for today. Like I said, I didn't write anything out. I didn't really have a plan for today. I just thought I'd come out and hang out. Ellie style, vegan gay style, that kind of thing. And hold up. I tell you what, before I shoot off, we're going to give someone some attention who's been desperate for attention. Thank you, Oreo is cool, for the super chat. Salad, appreciate it. But I'm going to do something I don't normally do, hey? I'm going to give someone some attention. I would never normally give anyone like this attention. But I see a comment. I'm sorry, however, it came across as encouraging your followers to send death to animal farmers. Many a true word spoken in jest. I don't buy this half-assed attempt at covering it. You're a fucking idiot. That's all I've got to say to you, bro. If you think that, okay, let's check this out, right? If you're somebody who watched that video and you thought the death threats bit was real, you thought that I'm actually saying to do it, you also have to believe that I believe that giving a girl a B12 supplement for Valentine's Day so she can remember her name again is also 100% real. And you also have to believe that taking a girl to a field so she can eat the grass for Valentine's Day because it's regenerative farming, you have to believe that's real too. You also have to believe that I think taking someone on a date to McDonald's to scream at people is real. You have to believe these things. You have to believe also that I think that putting an Earthling Ed mask on and saying the words unnecessary suffering and moral agency, you think you have to believe that I was being serious about that if you also think I was being serious about this, you fucking numpties. Honestly, so if someone's going to clip anything from me regarding all this situation, clip that little bit just there and, you know, put that next to it if you're going to clip something. Oh my God, brilliant. Yeah, Annie, I'm doing up my partner, Annie, Ambience, who's in the chat. That's what I'm going to do for Annie. These are all of these things are what I'm genuinely doing for Annie. That's what I'm going to do for Valentine's Day. Annie's excited now because these are things I genuinely believe in, right? Getting Annie a B12 shot, taking her to McDonald's, and writing some death threats together as if any of that is serious. For God's sake. But that's the first and last time I'm going to give these silly comments this kind of attention. I do think that a lot of the people in the comment sections who are doing this stuff, they are quite, you know, desperate for attention. So yeah, and I don't want to give it, you know, guys. I don't think it's healthy to give people like this attention because it's like something they crave, and when they get it, they'll crave more of it. I think it's better that they just, you know, kick the habit, right? And stop being so desperate for attention and focus your attention somewhere else that's more productive for you rather than trying to get rises out of YouTubers and streamers, really. I mean, God, think about all the things you could do if you spent that same time you spent being a moron in my live chat or in my comments, if you spent it on doing things that are good for the world, hey? Who knows, you know? Who knows what you could achieve? Guys, it's been great here with you. I've enjoyed chilling out with you guys and having like a bit more of a chill session. We'll do more of these. I'm excited as we move forward. We'll do more of these stories that don't make the Face the Facts Friday. We'll do them in Absolutely Fact. We'll do some more video responses and video reactions. Very exciting. I will make an Earthling Ed mask and I'll wear it next time. And I'll say words like unnecessary suffering and moral agency. I'll be doing that for Annie on Valentine's Day too. If I don't do a live stream before, I'll prepare the mask and I'll show it to you guys as a secret behind the scenes so you can see it before Annie sees it. Yeah, we'll do that. Keep calling out that bullshit, guys. I will see you all in the next video.